Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Art of the Game over here at Cabot Crossing. And on this show, this is the show where us game masters share experiences of many years because we're owed to share tips, tricks, and do a little debating about tabletop role-playing games. And today's topic was brought up by Greg. Greg, what are we doing?
Well, technically, I brought it up because I had to remind Greg that he had done this like in episode 30 or something.
There's a whole thing.
Oh,
there's a backstory.
Yeah, we had the whole thing behind the scenes. Yeah,
Greg and also Cyber Symbiosis.
Yeah, I'm going to take credit for Greg's idea. I know. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. So this was brought up on another episode where we were talking about players, sometimes difficult players, sometimes good players, and I think I said we can make a whole episode on different types of players. So now we are there.
And how to deal with them.
And how to deal with them, right. Yeah. And when we say deal with them, we don't mean like how to slap them in the face, right? Yeah, no. We mean like just, best way to ensure that they and everyone else has fun too. So
sometimes you're also defending your fun and other people's fun, I should point out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so sometimes you're dealing with the player that is kind of a troublemaker.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. So, to start out, I think the first one I thought of anyway was you have the rules lawyer who always wants to wait. How do you spell lawyer? Who always wants to be able to be like, actually, the spell works like this, right? And here and there, it's not bad, but they get off on the fact that they always know the rules. They always can tell you the right way to do it and all that kind of stuff. And,
I think it's obsession with following rules, though, not so much. I think it's different than people agreeing that play the game a certain way.
Yeah,
but there's also there's a point where you have to know when or when not to, what fights really matter. Like as a GM, there's times when it doesn't matter and times when it does. And these people definitely do not know the difference at all. Yeah.
Especially when it's a minor thing, right?
Yeah.
And also there's certain times where the GM makes a mistake and it's in another player's favor. And then the person brings up, actually, it works this other way. I'm usually like, you know what? Just let it happen. It was in the player's favor. Now you're just acting against another player. That's just waiting for conflict to happen for no reason, right?
There's another side to that too, where you get people that will call you on your rulings and force that ruling forever, even because it benefits them in some way, right? And I know that's not quite the same thing, but these people kind of like hide behind rule lawyering sometimes. Yeah. Where and it gets into the other type of, they're not playing the same game, but there are rule lawyers who are they're fine to have at the table because you don't necessarily know all the rules either, and having one of those guys helping you when you're a new GM is really nice, right?
Yeah.
But they have to respect the shield, and they have to not be a dick about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You have anything to say about it, Mark? Do you agree?
I mean, I think it'd be helpful if you need help learning the rules at first, if it's a new game system for you. But as long as as long as they're not bringing up small stuff, as long as they're bringing up stuff that is going to conflict with another player, get in their way of a player benefiting. Sometimes if they just don't say it unless the GM asks or is confused, or if it benefits them, so they want to bring it up perhaps, but they don't do it all the time.
I think the way I usually deal with them is when they say something and they're certain and it sounds like, that actually might be right. Like that's kind of your thought. Okay, sure, go with it. But if they say something like, I think it's this other way, just say, okay, we'll look it up later, but we're going to go with this for now, right? It at least establishes that I get what you're doing, but I'm showing that what I say is actually going to happen this time, and that it's going to cause not like a respect, like a general respect, but like a certain like, oh, okay, this is how that GM works, and I can run with that.
Yeah. No, I've done that before, where I'm just like, I don't know 100%, but you sound certain, and I don't mind what we're going to do here. It's cool. Right. If it's cool, I think it's within limits. It's fine. If it's going to be fun. And but I'll just be like, but later on I'll look it up. I might change my mind for future rulings or something.
Just make sure your ego isn't based on getting the rule right. that a player whose ego is based on that, it's probably not a healthy thing. But.
So the from a philosophical standpoint, like the RPG game, like any kind of storytelling game, is based upon a set of agreements, right? And people are going, this book is what we're all going to use, right? And so you've got these rule lawyers, people are obsessed with it, but like I think the dividing line and whether or not you have a problem is like, can they step back and go and recognize that the rules are also interpretable, right? And that their interpretation isn't necessarily the rule of the law, and also it's meant to be fun and casual, and it's not supposed to be a thing where like everybody's trapped in these rules, and it's like
we're not in a courtroom where we have to follow the rules of process.
So if you want to be in charge and enforce the way you believe, then you should go be the game master. And it's been my experience that a lot of these rules lawyer types aren't relaxed enough to be the GM. Like they're so caught up in the structure that they must have this order they must have, that they tend not to be as good at the storytelling aspect of it. Not saying that they can't, but they rarely rank among the top, right?
Yeah, they focus way too much on rules. And in fact, you see that when they plan, you'll see that they plan out rules and not story. Because, I think, Woody, you and I are very similar. I'm not sure about Marks with this, Marks, but when we plan out ahead, we're not sitting there coming up with every stat of everything we're going to use. In fact, that's probably the least thing in our mind. We're just trying to think of general points that might happen that next session.
Exactly.
And have a general idea of it, and that's it.
For me, I'm very tactical, and I also think about how I want to build my character and what abilities are fun to use, but also give you the most options, right?
Yeah, and think about abilities. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, when dealing with a person like this, you have to be able to politely establish that you are the game master, and the game master role has very specific rights and privileges, and those rights do include making a change to something in the game. And ideally, you're making those changes because you think it's going to be more fun, or maybe will work a little better, right? But you have that right. You do have to tenure yourself to be able to engage that right, because players will not accept it from somebody who's very new and very raw. And you really shouldn't be making those changes until you really have had your had your time at the table. But when you're dealing with rules law, you have to be able to basically put your foot down and go, well, I understand your position. I disagree, and we're going to do it a different way. And that guy has to accept it or go. I mean, it's just if they're not going to accept it, they're not going to work out.
And I will say, if there's a rule lawyer there and they tell you something that would actually help one of the players a lot, if they're right, and they seem confident and you're not sure, I would actually just go with it and go with whatever he said, because why not? We're not there to make sure you get the player, right?
Yeah.
But there's nuances.
Move on. Yeah. Make a ruling, move on.
Just make the ruling, move on, and always try to be on the player side for the most part.
Yeah, but these guys have to understand, though, that the ruling you're going to make may not be in agreement with what they think is the case.
Oh yeah. Don't spend any time on it. Never look up a rule. and just be like, okay, we're going to do this and move on, and make sure you make that clear. Yeah.
You have 30 seconds to find something. If you can't find it, keep going.
Yeah.
I want to go into
that's a rule. You guys said that rule.
It is a rule. Hey, Greg, this actually segues really well into people that are not playing the same game as us. Why don't we do that one next? Because that's the other side of the rules lawyer, because sometimes you have these people that they're going for an angle or an advantage, right?
Yeah.
And they're not concerned with anybody's fun but their own. And so the rules lawyering is used to maneuver something to their advantage. And I've had this situation happen many times where the guy is like, he's pushing for a ruling, and he wants that ruling because he knows that he can exploit it and hold it over your head.
Oh, interesting.
And that's apparently you haven't dealt with that, but I've dealt with it a lot. And
I've dealt with other stuff that would fit within this title, but not that.
Yeah, exactly. Like because these people, like, they're there. I mean, they're obviously enjoying the game, but they're also like, they're not there because of the same reason everybody else is. It's not about like, oh, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to be with my friends and doing this cool thing. No, it's because it's the power or being better or being able to beat they want to beat up people and feel tough. I don't know, whatever.
These are often the power gamers too, like the people who need to have the broken build, right?
Yeah, but that's not necessarily the same thing as this. What I'm talking about, like this.
No, it's not. But the way I've seen this is someone you're playing a game that's supposed to be like dark, with lots of horror overtones, and you're going in and you're trying to kill these mutations and all this kind of stuff, and they just they're obsessed over playing their character the way that they want to play and doing a certain thing within the world that doesn't match what they want to do at all. I had this recently. I wasn't actually running the game, but one of the players wanted to start like an adventures guild or something like that, but it didn't have anything to do with the setting at all. And you can't force your style of play in a setting that doesn't match it. It's something to watch out for, and in those cases, you just have to put your foot down and say, "Hey, I get what you're trying to do, but I don't think it'll work."
Well, I mean, you could let them form their own secret society. In that case, that's basically what it is.
Yeah. Come up with alternatives that would work within the framework. But if they're obsessed over whatever they're trying to do, just tell them, I'm sorry, it's just the setting does not allow for that.
Well, this is where session 0 is really important, where you set the ground line, where you guys decide what kind of game you're playing, and that can help.
Well, in this case, it was a pre-built module, so it wasn't like you couldn't really change that. But
well, I've had multiple players I've known that kind of fall into this category, because I've had people that like they have this massive ego and they want the entire universe to revolve around them, and they sometimes see the entire world as simply existing for them to abuse or to take advantage of, and it's entirely for their gratification, right? And I've also had someone who, outside of the game, is a very loyal, good friend, reliable, like kind of hard to deal with sometimes, but they are like, in real life, like a decent person that means well, right? And deep down, right? But but then you put them into the game and they just go insane. Right, like removing them from the restrictions of life, and then suddenly it's like they behave in a way that they would never behave anywhere else, and then they cannot comprehend when the NPCs in the world don't tolerate their behavior. Right, but they would never behave this way in real life, but they do in the game, and it's like, what is wrong with you?
And then you realize they would behave like that in real life if there were no rules.
Exactly. No.
And then you go, "Oh God!"
Yeah, I know.
Then 10 years later, you find out they were serial killers.
I've seen people just freak out and just get upset and throw a temper tantrum because the NPCs don't like being beat up and abused.
I've encountered. This is partially my fault. When it happened, was I had a group of players. I was like, "Hey, we want to play Delta Green and stuff," and I don't think I sold it quite well enough, because I told them it was a horror game and stuff. I don't think it really digested in their brain, and they at least 2 of the players just freaked out about like sanity rolls and everything else, and it was real problematic. So So that's where you want to make sure you're playing the same. They pretty much just want to be power gamers and live in a fantasy world, and so they don't like it when they lose or can't be on top.
And there is nothing wrong with that, because RPGs for a lot of people is a power fantasy, and that's okay, because they are.
Just don't play Delta Green.
I was about to give what I thought was controversial. I don't think power gamers are a problem. I think you have power gamer people, and a lot of people say, "Oh, just stop trying to like be more powerful than everyone else." If they're within the rules and they find some gimmick that makes them more powerful, I'm just kind of like, that's their thing. The other people aren't playing the game for the same reason, but if those people are usually somewhat quiet during story anyway, and then they when they're actually in combat, they pop off, and that's fine. Whatever, it doesn't bother me at all.
Where I have found this to be the real problem is when you have an inexperienced game master, right, who doesn't actually have a good handle on what they're doing, and they have they could be because like the thing is traditionally, as opposed to modern game design, right, is like you had characters in the party that were physically more powerful, and that's just how it was, and like that was actually built into the game design, right, like the Palladium has never got lost this aspect of it. D&D used to do it all the time. Where
second edition had a lot of that.
Like the fighter's role is to be the front man, right? But now the way 5e is set up, everybody is equally powerful, just in their own unique way, obviously. But like you could have a wizard face off against a fighter, and if that wizard gets the first spell off, it's probably going to be a pretty even fight, right? But they can actually do that, and but it didn't used to be possible to do that. You needed that teamwork, and everybody was different, and so you needed that power gamer in some respects, because that meat shield was essential to the party structure. And it's not that way now. And now it is like if you have a guy who's a power gaming and found those exploits, which were very easy to do in Pathfinder 1, like you're suddenly leaving everybody in the dust. And, I think addressing this probably has a lot to do with like the GM and how they run the game, because if you know you've got that situation, you need to be more strategic in your combat encounters, and make sure that, like that fighter is able to, that power fighter is able to, be that shield for the party and isn't just simply killing everything by himself.
100%. The gunslinger in Pathfinder 1E is so broken, it's ridiculous. And I didn't stop it or anything. I just, there were some really beefy people that needed to be taken down, and that's what the gunslinger focused on, right? Because it was what they're good at.
Well, you need to make sure that the encounters last long enough that this powerful character like doesn't take them out in 2 turns, so that way the other players have a way to participate, right, and contribute, or there's something else for them to do while this guy is fighting and keeping all the bad guys off of them, which is probably easier to pull those off in sci-fi games, because there's more engagement with the environment in a lot of ways. But
I saw a video talking about something related to this, where this guy's theory was that World of Warcraft changed how D&D was with 4th edition, 5th edition, whereas like everybody's got to be in certain types for combat, so they got your people.
Oh, the roles,
doing each one of the roles and stuff.
I effing hate that so much, because like there should never be a such thing as a bad build. And if you have a game design where there is a bad build, like like taking levels in this and taking levels of that is not optimizing your character, and you're not a good character, either the players have the wrong idea or the game's made badly. Like you should be able to take any combination of available abilities, because that's the point.
That's why I like to use masterminds, but
I don't mind. I think you have to have some balance, because you do need to. There's some people just really like trying to make builds, and I think it's okay to have combinations that do well and some combinations that aren't as well. But just realize that sometimes you do a not optimized build for other reasons, and that's okay.
Well, I think the key is just how are they in the game? Are they dominating everything? Are they? Are the other players just sitting around going, "Oh well, I guess we'll just take care of it"? It's like it's like in fiction where you have like Mary Sue, or I can't remember the male version, is that where you're just like, oh, it was perfect person who could defeat everything, and that's what you don't want in a player group where one person's like, I am Superman and you guys are all Jimmy Olsen and stuff.
You need to make sure that there's something for everyone to do, right? Like your roadmap to the campaign, as I've said many times, is what characters people made. That is what the game's going to be, right? And if everybody is going to be like smart guy characters, there's no fighters, you're clearly not going to have a lot of big encounters, right? Or the encounters are not going to be like dragons and chimera, and all these things. So it's like it's going to be different, right? So the kinds of characters in the party tell you what kind of campaign you're running, and that is the first job of the game master, is to figure that out.
I think we should end it on that, because that's basically the answer is if you're playing a module, don't just do whatever the module says. Like actually tailor it towards the type of group you have and who they are.
Perhaps there will be a part 2 to this, because we have a much longer list to go through for sure. But
I just meant for this one.
Oh, okay.
Category.
All right. Well, because we're almost at our 20-minute mark, Greg. So it's like,
that's true.
Yeah. So, but maybe we have a part 2 to this video.
Okay, how many more do we have?
3 or 4.
So
okay.
4.
Yeah, let's do a part 2 then. This is
no, we have 5 more. Let's do one more. Yeah,
one more. Okay.
Yeah, because that way we have 4 parts for the next one.
So I have a feeling drinkers would be a lot of stories. So let's do more of the. Actually, drinking and distracted players are good to put it in a different one. Let's talk about the
lore master.
Lore master, yeah.
Lore master, yes.
And this is one I should mention. I have a unique problem with this. I think a lot of people don't actually. Like if Woody's playing a game,
call me out.
If Woody's playing a game,
Star Wars.
he knows the lore better than probably everyone at the table if he's actually running the game.
Not true. No? I know the lore about certain things.
Okay. Well, the thing is, most of your games is your lore.
Right, but I mean, like you had the misfortune of inviting me to be a player in the one game where I would know more than you.
The older public timelines.
Exactly.
But no, it's not just that. I just mean like you are a world builder person, and so you generally are more in line with the world that you built. Whereas
fair.
I'm not a world builder. I've never claimed to be, right? It's not my strong point. And so I don't take the time to actually, even my own world, players will often know it better than me because I'll forget.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but like that's not necessarily a bad thing, because kind of like, like the rules lawyer, that can be a huge benefit to the GM, because like I had books on my shelf that were benefit to you.
Oh yeah, and that was going to be my point here is it's okay. If it's an established world that's like canon, like Star Wars, it's also okay just to say, well, this timeline's different. If it's if it's your own world and they're just pointing out a contradiction because you said something previously, that's perfectly okay. That's actually a good thing. You're keeping it, what is it? The continuity correct.
It's actually good for me to get those things pointed out. But
so I think most of the time this is fine in my opinion.
But the thing that becomes a problem is where you have somebody that can't accept that, we're doing something different than the established lore, or they know the lore so well that they're trying to use it to their advantage.
True, no metagaming with lore.
Yeah, they know, because I've had this situation happen where
would that be called a canon master, perhaps?
Maybe, but because like I've had this situation happen where I've had players that have like memorized the books too well, and it's like that they can't easily separate it, right? And like it's an easy thing to handle in a game like Palladium, because I've got all this. The game mechanics are structured in a way where if you want to have that knowledge, you can build your character to have that knowledge to justify it, right? And you can also in just about any game you can make an intellect check. Would you know that? It's when they're doing it quietly and they're
if you're a lore master and and you notice that they know a lot about the lore, whoever that player is, be sure to point out. Have them be open about it and point out what they know. Like tell them, try not to act on what you don't know. And if you do, just bring it up and we'll roll an intelligence check to see if your character will know that. Yeah, it's a great solution to it.
Well, like in a game like Rifts, there's your drinking game, Greg. So like the game's so popular, it's been around for so long. There are so many variations on these storylines, right? That you can make all these wild changes and go, okay, we're gonna try this, right? And the same thing with Star Wars, right? Or because there's and Star Wars also has so many centuries and thousands of years in their eras. But if you're picking a popular era, you can go, well, what if the Sith defeated the Republic, and Revan ruled everything or something, right? It's like, you have a lot of options. Like you don't have to be married to that canon. So like make that understood from the beginning.
100%. Yep. Exactly. Especially in the Old Republic where things aren't as canonized, you might say, as some other things. And there's so much to Old Republic anyway.
Yeah, there is. But like if these guys become a troublemaker, like if they are trying to exploit or demand that things have to be a certain way, it's the same thing as some of these other ones. Like you have to just be able to put your foot down and kind of like establish where you are on this. And if you've got a cheater who's trying to exploit something, it still comes down to like some of these people aren't good to have at the table.
Ultimately, if you have an extreme version of any of these, then they're just probably not great players to have on your table. Extreme version.
Except, I mean, I really don't see a problem with power gamers in general.
Well, maybe you won't, but the other players might not enjoy it.
The other players can. I understand that one very well. But again, like I stand by my position. I think it comes down to the experience of the game master.
Yes,
and it also it's like it's also a question of like perspective of how the game's going to be, because traditionally old school gaming, you were lucky to have a power gamer at the table.
I mean, to summarize what we said on everything, rules lawyers. The solution is to as the game master, you kind of just have to put your foot down with rulings and sometimes accept what they say if they're right, and especially if it helps their fellow players.
Know what fights are worth fighting.
What fights are worth fighting and all that kind of stuff.
And then let it go the rest of the time.
But my point is it comes down to the game master to, I think, do that correctly. Not playing the same game, again, comes down to the game master to make sure you're clear about what you're playing. Let them know that whatever they're trying isn't going to work out, or whatever they're doing is not going to work with the way the game's going. And just be clear as a game master.
Yeah.
The power gamer as a game master, you just have to make sure you handle it with the fight. Usually power gaming is about fights, and you just have to make sure you handle it with the fights. And that's really the answer to it. And same with the lore master. It's just like, just be clear as a game master. Oh, the lore is different here, or even better, make it give situations to where they would find out a lot of lore, right? Or just have them roll intelligence checks, like you said, make sure they're clear about what lore they know and that they're not telling and using and stuff. So it really comes down to just you as a game master can tailor the game to handle these things in general.
And as long as the player isn't combative with you,
as long as they're not combative, and that's pretty rare, to be honest. But
well, I've had to deal with that one a lot, so it doesn't feel rare to me. But
it's pretty rare when you play.
It wasn't. I would encounter sometimes when I was in high school or something, but when I got older, I've encountered very rarely that someone is going to be that bad about it.
With the lore master, though, like I do want to say, like, there are, like, if you've got a player who is, they have a real tough time separating the player and character knowledge, which that happens.
Oh my god.
The thing is like 5e is really bad about this, but like, you can, have them, if they want to have a character with this knowledge, then make sure that they're building a character that it possesses it. Like 3rd edition, 3.5 and Pathfinder are really good about giving you the ability to make those characters. Like, it's generally quite easy. Most characters could be built like that. 5e is tougher. But you can make allowances for it. And, like the Platinum system, it's very easy. Almost any character in the game can be built as a lore master character. And so it's kind of like, if somebody wants to be, if they're like that, then they need to have a character that can justify the knowledge they want to have. Yeah. And they need to know in advance that you're going to put like this foot down on player versus character knowledge. And,
I will say with a game like D100, I don't have encounter those top 3 very often. The 4th one you can encounter.
Because those ones aren't power fantasies.
Yeah. I think I've dealt with every type of trouble player over the years. Like, all this is very, very familiar to me. So, these are very, the things I've encountered many times, and I think other GMs will too. So it's good to talk about.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a wrap. Yeah.
All right. So that's it for part 1 of Type of Players. We'll be back for part 2. What kind of player are you? Let us know in the comments. Tell us what kind of players have you encountered that maybe cause you issues, and how you've adjust your game for those players. Let us know in the comments. We can make it a conversation, chit chat about it. And a little chit chatting. A little TikToking? No. I don't YouTube.
He didn't say it.
No. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and until next time,
keep being a prom player.
Hate the player, hate the game. No, I
hate the player and the game.
When the dice roll high, we touch the sky, but when they crash, it's a belly laugh. Genre play.